Oh, I feel like I look weird in my glasses now. I don't wear them as much as I used to, the rectangle ones. Anyway, hi everyone, Anthony Fantano here, internet's busiest music nerd. I hope you're doing well, and it is time for a review of the new Natalia Lafourcade album, Un Canto por Mexico, Volume 1. This is a new full-length LP from Mexican singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist Natalia Lafourcade. She returns to us after the epic 1-2 punch of both volumes of Musas in 2017 and 2018, where she embraced the sounds of South American folk, all stripes of it, in a really big way. While this sound has always been a part of Natalia's artistic DNA, her previous albums trended more toward folk pop, twee pop, and chamber pop than anything, with far more of an indie appeal but with a Latin twist, obviously. But since the success of Musas and the key role Natalia played in the Disney Coco soundtrack, she has become like this international conduit for some of the more classic sounds of Mexican music culture, which is a role she is embracing hard on this new record, which there is already a sequel to on the way. Un Canto Volume 1 pretty much runs like a compilation of originals, covers, collaborations, renditions of songs from Natalia's back catalog that are now given these extravagant and more rustic presentations. Even casual fans of her work should instantly recognize Hasta la RAIZ, as well as Nunca es Suficiente, which sees a tight ranchera redo on this thing with flawless trade-offs between the horns and accordion, some awesome luscious string sections too. There are also a few tracks on this thing from Musas Volume 1, MEXICANA, HERMOSA, as well as Mi Tierra, VERACRUZANA, both of which are extravagantly revised with dramatic acoustic guitar leads and strings and harp, grand group vocals too. Some of the arrangements here and throughout the record felt a little overbearing to me, especially on my first couple of listens, but specifically with these tracks, the more I replayed them, the more they came off to me as this is how they were always meant to sound. One track I could not get over though in the track list was Para Que Sufrir. The strings and horns on this one just sound too detached and sterile in comparison with the very low-key vocals and guitars underneath. It sounds like something that had been tacked on in the recording by an old Hollywood sound studio. This track might also feature the flattest duet on the entire record too in terms of chemistry. Still, I love Natalia showing her ambition to cross as many Mexican musical touchstones as possible on this record. There are bolero tracks on here, and on the intro she goes full mariachi with one of several showy appearances from Veracruz music vets Los Cojolites. And the performance of the horns, the guitars, the vocals here, it's so peppy, darting from note to note with the speed of a hummingbird. So much soul, sounds like pure gold as well, and when Natalia's vocals eventually jump into the mix, it just gets better. Now, many of my gringo Americano viewers may not know this, but this song is a true mariachi classic that has been covered and revamped countless times. And it would seem like Natalia's goal here is to play it as close to the root as possible stylistically, instrumentally, while also packing in enough layers to choke an elephant. Many of the other covers on this record are pretty faithful to a song's original idea, or at least a very popular rendition of said song. For example, the track Veracruz is presented as a first moody and then idyllic and romantic take on the classic Agustin Lara track, which has a serious vintage flair, not surprising considering that Lara was born just before the turn of the 20th century. But not every song's source of inspiration on this record is so old. Like with Ya No Vivo por Vivir featuring Leonel Garcia, one half of the Latin R&B duo Sin Bandera. It's a beautiful tune for sure, and originally landed on a record of duets by Latin pop great Juan Gabriel. Now, Natalia was on that original duet on that track back in 2015, but I guess it wasn't enough to leave that song in the past. She had to redo it and do another duet on it for this album, which I guess is fine. Instrumentally, she played it a lot more rustic on this one, which I like. But truly the most stunning element of this song are the very close, sensual, quiet, fast harmonies that play throughout the track. The vocals really are a wonder on this one. Now, of course, there are some fresh originals in the mix on this thing too, like My Religion, which is a cute accordion-backed track where Natalia basically proclaims music as her religion. The fun you can hear she's having on the song vocally is really infectious from start to end. We also have Una Vida, another great tune from Natalia in 3-time. Very low-key and intimate verses and bubbly choruses on this one, featuring cascading mariachi horns and strings. Finally, I think the album's last third is just a tad bit mixed. We do get the fiery Sembrando Flores, which features some of the most intense vocal and guitar work on the entire LP. Some incredible bite to this song, despite it being one of the most skeletal, stripped back, and acoustic on the record. Lo que construimos I felt was a highlight too. It's one of the more laid-back ranchera numbers on here, one of the prettier duets as well. However, I cannot say the same for the sudden rap verse that pops in toward the end of Un Derecho de Nacimiento. It really just did not work for me. Aesthetically, it feels so against the whole old world sound and vibe of the entire LP, and sonically it just overpowered every other sound in the mix. I do appreciate that verses and the song's general message of resistance and giving a voice and power to the people and living for a cause. So even though I wasn't crazy about that element of the song, still A for ambition and great appreciation for Natalia for just wanting to and being passionate about putting forward socially substantive music. Finally, I also wish there was more to the closing track on this record. The guitar, I think, is just a bit too faint and even off at a few points. But I suppose if there is an upside to this track being as raw and as naked as it is, it's in Natalia's voice. Her performance here is nothing short of an incredible showing of her dynamics and personality, especially when she's really selling that bird call inspired refrain, that also that yell that she breaks into it in the very final moment of the song is pure power. It's a very good record. It's a very, very good record, and I loved it. I loved the hell out of it. Another amazing showing from Natalia on this one. Sure, at the end of the day, these tracks flow more like a disjointed collection more than they do a tight thematic grouping of songs, but it's still one fantastic tune and performance and recording after another. You can't really go wrong. And ultimately, I can't really deny this album does accomplish what it sets out to do, which is give the audience a taste of the artists and sounds and ideas that have been key to the rich and unique tradition of Mexican music. Feeling a decent 2-strong 8 on this one? Transition, have you given this album a listen? Did you love it? Did you hate it? What would you rate it? You're the best, you're the best. What should I review next? Hit the like if you like. Please subscribe and please don't cry. Hit the bell as well. Over here next to my head is another video that you can check out. Hit that up or the link to subscribe to the channel. Anthony Fantano, Natalia Lafourcade, forever.